Well, today's historic election truly began 16 months ago when the uprising against the rule of Hosni Mubarak began here in Cairo. That's when tens of thousands of protesters poured into Tahrir Square and into the streets of cities across the country. Unemployment, corruption, and brutal police tactics pushed widespread anger at the Mubarak regime to the breaking point. And social media, including a Facebook page dedicated to a young man who died in police custody before the uprising, gave that anger a place to organize. The man who ran that Facebook page followed through today on what he helped begin more than a year ago. Here is Wael Ghonim casting his vote in Cairo today. And Wael Ghonim joins me live here in Cairo this evening for our special program. Wael, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
What's going through your mind today?
Well, it's a historical moment for Egypt, and actually not just Egypt, it's for the whole Arab world. For the first time in years, at least for the first time, I go and vote for a president, and the Egyptians are today the ones deciding who's going to be the next ruler, the next leader of the country.
Do you trust that it will be a fair and transparent process, or do you have worries?
Well, we all have worries all the time. Yet, so far, there has been some problems, yet I wouldn't say major problems. A lot of people are worried from fraud. I think what guarantees that no fraud will happen is basically the large number of voters participating. So I'm optimistic.
Now, you support a candidate. You openly went to his last political rally, Abdul Munim Abdul Fattah. He's an Islamist. Some people worry about that. They say an Islamist president in Egypt is the last thing we want. Why do you support him?
Well, first of all, Abdul Munim Abdul Fattah was with me on 25th of January 2011. That's the first time I met the guy. And at that time, and since then, he showed a great deal of being a moderate Muslim, working on uniting people. Actually, today, his supporters vary from the Salafis, the hardcore Muslims, or as well as many liberals and leftists and young revolutionaries. So I personally think that what Egypt needs at the moment is to fight polarization and to bring people together. This is how we are going to fix the problem, fix what people want, get what people want.
You know, I was here during the initial phase of the revolution, the 18 days, and I remember when you were released from custody and gave a television interview in which you were extremely emotional. You galvanized, you truly brought people down into the streets. Do you think this revolution is partly yours as well? Would it have happened the way it unfolded without a figure such as you?
I think I'm getting too much credit on this, and I think that the practices of the old regime is what made people go to the streets and what made people persistent. And there has been a lot of efforts done by many people. Many of them died today. And today I was remembering those who died for us to live this moment, the moment where we chose the people. So answering your question, I think I'm getting too much credit for this.
Now we're 16 months after the initial revolution. Where will we be in 16 months' time? I mean, will Egypt, do you think, reach that destination point, that end point that it wants collectively?
Well, I don't have a crystal ball. What I can tell you is that despite all the challenges we're facing, I believe the revolution is a process. It's not an event. And what have been happening in tons of years is not going to change in months. We are undergoing change, and we are fueling it with optimism. And I'm personally very optimistic about our future despite all the challenges we are facing. And I really like the fact that we're all learning and we're all benefiting from, first of all, breaking the barrier of fear, and second, actively participating in politics.
All right, and you're getting ready for round two, I'm sure.
Well, I hope they finish from round one. My candidate finishes from round one, but definitely if round two happens, then we're ready.
Wael Ghonim, thanks so much for joining us on CNN on this very special day for your country.
Thank you.
And your countrymen and women.
And the whole Arab world as well.
That's true. Thank you so much.